Hi friends, welcome to the channel. Welcome back if you've been here before. Thank you so much for coming back if you've been here before. Today we are going to be doing a pick a card reading, and this is the winner of this past week's poll, and we are going to be looking at the life that you and your future spouse are going to build together. So for this week, as usual, we have three piles. Pile number one is going to be this princess cut beautiful ring. I'm going to put that back there. Pile number two, and I'm holding them up so you can see them, is this beautiful emerald ring. We're going to put that one back down. And pile number three is this beautiful pear-shaped. Is that what this cut is called? I cannot think right now, but this beautiful ring. So ask yourself which pile, or maybe piles, have a message for you. And let's talk about what we are going to cover during this specific reading. Okay, so for this reading, we're going to go as deep as possible. So we are going to start by looking at who you are and who your future spouse is. Then we're going to get into the first chapter of your life. So how are you going to meet? What is going to set this story in motion for you and your future spouse? This is kind of the meet cute, if you will. If this was a movie, that's what this would be. Or a show. I guess that happens in the show as well. But then we're going to look at their heart's devotion. So what they'll deeply feel for you and how they'll show their love for you. We're going to move into the bond beyond words. So what is the bond that both of you have? The emotional, spiritual connection that makes your relationship unbreakable. We're going to go into the life you'll create together. So what is the lifestyle, the home, the family, shared passions, anything and everything that wants to come through. We're going to look at the joy that you'll share. So, what are the moments of laughter, the little moments that are going to kind of create the larger picture, right? Because every single relationship, every single life is built on little moments that eventually add up. Then we're going to go into how you'll weather storms. So how will you grow stronger through challenges and protect each other's hearts? Then we're going to look at the love that grows over time. So how your love evolves, matures, and deepens over the years. And we're finally going to close it out by looking at your forever after. So what is the lasting imprint your love will leave on each other and the world around you? And I did pick a couple of cards for you, my viewer, that are more of just information for you and energy that you need to be aware of at this time. So if this sounds like something that you are interested in, stick around. We are about to get started. If this is where you leave me, I hope you have a wonderful week and I hope you come back soon. But let's get started with the reading. Hello, pile number one. Welcome to your reading. This is going to be your reading if you are drawn to the princess cut ring. I'm actually going to hold it out so you can look at it. Actually, I think you can see it better if I leave it in its beautiful case. So I'm going to place that right over there. As a reminder, this is a general reading. Take what resonates, leave the rest behind. You know yourself best. If it does not fit, do not force it to fit. Also, I did do a reading breakdown that is going to tell you exactly what we are going to be looking at during this reading. I highly suggest that you check that out, because this is going to be a thick one. So, or I should say a long one. So, we're going to start by looking at who you are and who your future spouse is. And then we're going to move into the rest of the reading. This portion of the reading is meant to help you confirm if you've picked the right pile. So my intention is that my viewer is on the left and your future spouse is on the right. That being said, it could be that the energies are flip-flopped. It could also be that you identify with both sides. That can happen as we tend to attract people that match our vibration. But if this doesn't sound like you and this doesn't sound like you, I would try choosing a different pile because the rest of this probably isn't for you. But let's get started. Let's look at person number one. We have the oyster, welcome, truth, And then for person number 2, we have the Panther. We have fertility. And we have expectation. Okay, so let's start by talking about the oyster person. And I want to mention the zodiac signs. With the oyster, this is water energy being represented. So Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. I would also say we have some earth, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, and a little bit of air with Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. And we will talk about the Panther person once we get there. But who is my oyster person for my pile number 1s? First and foremost, I think that this person right here is someone that radiates light. And I know that sounds kind of like, of course, kind of corny, but that's really what's coming through for this oyster person. There's something about them that just radiates light. And I think that this is somebody that is very, I want to say attractive, but I also want to say that this goes deeper than the looks. Like there's something about the oyster person that it's not just the looks. It goes much deeper than that. And one thing about the oyster person is that I think that there's a level of mystery that this person carries and the way that this person carries themselves. There's like a mysterious aura to this person that's coming through. But at the same time, it's a very welcoming energy. It's a very down to earth energy. So it's almost like people can't quite figure out the oyster person. But also, it's not because the oyster person is doing anything on purpose for that to be the case. It just feels like there's something very mysterious about this person. So I would not be surprised if we have some Scorpio at play here. It could be Cancer, it could be Pisces, but especially Scorpio energy is coming through very strongly. Gemini energy is coming through very strongly for this oyster person. But this is somebody who is quite in tune with the flow of life. I do think that the oyster person has figured out how to manifest, or it's almost like this is somebody who may have been studying something like spiritual laws or the power of surrender. There's something that feels very connected, very plugged in about this oyster person. And I also think that this oyster person is someone who is very charming, very inviting. That's what I wanted to say. Because I do think this is somebody who is attractive, not only physically, but something about their aura is very attractive. But it's also a very inviting energy. I do think that the oyster person tends to kind of keep certain things to themselves. So if you are the oyster person, you could be someone where people will go to you to share their like almost like to use you as a counselor. And I don't want to make it sound that sounded terrible, to use you as a counselor, but they see you as someone that they can get advice from, somebody that they can talk to, somebody who could understand them. But I also think that the oyster person is very good at keeping their own stuff to themselves. And that's not a good or bad thing, right? That's just a choice. But it does feel like the oyster person kind of keeps themselves. It takes a lot for this person to open up, but once they do, they will allow you in. But it does take a lot for them to kind of open up and reveal a lot about themselves. It feels like this is somebody who kind of is very thoughtful and very intentional about what they share with other people. And I do think at times the oyster person may either come across as shy, or they may feel the need to kind of retreat and go within and kind of keep themselves separate from others. I do think this is somebody who has a very sensitive energy. So if they are not around the right people, they can get easily drained. If they are around people that are not good for them, or in environments that are not good for them, I do feel that the oyster person becomes pretty drained, pretty burnt out pretty quickly. And I do think that this is somebody that is aware of when that is happening, because they've had to learn that certain people, certain environments are not very helpful to what it is that they are trying to experience in this world. And one thing I will say about the oyster person is that this is somebody who has a very protective aura. They want to protect themselves, they want to protect their heart. So again, it takes a lot for this oyster person to let someone in. And at times I do think that can be almost counterintuitive, especially when this person is seeking connection, because it's kind of this, I want this connection, I want to experience this, but at times I'm also keeping myself pretty isolated sometimes. And this isn't for everyone, so only take that part if it resonates. And here's the thing: if you are the oyster person, you do want to be discerning, but there has to be balance between discernment and just keeping yourself completely separate from other people. So that's coming through very strongly here. I also think that this oyster person is very nurturing, very welcoming of the people that they allow in. Again, there's something kind of mysterious about this person. There is something that kind of isn't open to just anyone, but they are very nurturing of those that they are close to. If the oyster person is a parent, this is a parent that is very much emotionally available, doing the best that they can, showing up for their kids, making sure that their children or child has what the opportunities that maybe they didn't have, or the type of parenting that they wish they could have had. This is someone who is very self-aware of what they desire and how they are going to create that. And I'll also say for the oyster person, they do have a very active throat chakra. This could be somebody who is doing something maybe that involves public speaking, that involves communication, marketing, something along those lines. That's not for everyone. For others, this could be like a coach, a counselor. This could be somebody who does work in like a spiritual field, so like a Reiki practitioner, a fellow tarot reader. This could be somebody who does something creative as well that's coming through. There's a lot of different options here, but the overall energy for this person is very generous, very blessed, very just very connected. I keep getting that for this person. Very connected. Connected to self, connected to higher self, connected to oneness consciousness. But pile number one, let's talk about the Panther person, because uh, let's talk about the Panther person. So, with the energy of the Panther, we have the fire signs represented. So, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. We also have fertility, which is Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. We have expectations. I would say that is more Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. If not, I would really say that amplifies the fire signs as well. But who is this Panther person? First and foremost, this is a creator. This is somebody who is very good at manifesting. This is someone who is very good at creating. This is someone who has a lot of goals, a lot of ambitions, and they know how to get to where they want to be. This Panther person is very outgoing. I would not be surprised if this is a extroverted person, where this is somebody who really likes to be around other people. They really like to create connections and to just spend time within those connections. I do think this Panther person is very good at networking and marketing themselves and what it is that they are here to do. So this feels like somebody who could be an entrepreneur. This feels like somebody who has some sort of job or career where they are outwardly facing, where they have to do a lot of work with other people, whether it's they are a people manager or they work in a field that requires them to kind of speak and have to deal with other people on a daily basis. For some, we could have like public speaker, lawyers. We could have somebody who does like training, HR, somebody who is like forward facing when it comes to clients. This could be like a doctor. This could be an accountant, somebody in finance, somebody in tech. But if they're in tech, whatever it is that they're doing, they are facing other people. They're not just doing the work at their desk or the work kind of just doing the thing. They're also having to connect. This is somebody who has to market, has to network. That is coming through very strongly here. One thing about the Panther person is this person does not want to be stagnant. This person wants to be on the move. They want to constantly grow and evolve, and they want to get to the next phase. They want to get to the next level. They are constantly seeking ways of self-improvement and ways to kind of keep things fun. This is somebody who's very adventurous. I would not be surprised if this Panther person is constantly traveling or finding ways to bring in excitement into their own life and into their connections, and this is somebody who like they want to constantly be doing something. This is not a homebody. This is not somebody who's just kind of sitting around and waiting for things to happen. They are making things happen. And I will say, I do think that the Panther person can sometimes be a bit blunt. And I do think that this person can sometimes demand a bit too much from themselves and even the people around them. And this is something that they are here to learn, how to be more understanding and how to slow down more. But this Panther person is very brave. I would not be surprised if this is somebody who has gone like skydiving or somebody who is into some form of hobby that feels like something the average person probably wouldn't want to do. I do think the Panther person really enjoys spending time outdoors and being active. I also think that this is somebody who does learn from their experiences, especially their mistakes. This does feel like somebody who knows when they've messed up and they know how to move forward and how not to make that mistake again. I do feel this Panther person could be into sports. This could be like basketball, football, it's any sport. I just feel like this person could very well be into sports. It could be that they also play sports, but this is somebody who keeps rather active. I do think this is somebody who is very strong, not only internally, but like their build is very strong, very kind of solid build. And this is somebody who is very productive, very much focused on what it is that they want to create. And again, there's something about this person that is very much in tune with the magician archetype. This is someone who's going to create out of seemingly nothing. This is somebody who is going to perfect their craft, and they are going to constantly look for ways to move up in the world, move up in their own career, in their own business. They're constantly looking for the next challenge. This is a night owl. I would also not be surprised if the person doesn't sleep too much. That's coming through. Like this feels like somebody who would go to sleep at like 1 or 2 in the morning and be up at like 6 in the morning. And it's not even that they're always tired when they do this. Sometimes it's just that's all that they needed in order to get up and keep going. That's coming through. I know that's very intense, but that's what's coming through. But pile number 1, let's take a look at your first chapter, how you're going to meet what sets this story in motion. What's the meet cute here? What's going on? What's the story? How does this start? High Priestess, King of Cups, Okay. Then we have the Magician. Very interesting because I keep getting like this magician archetype for this person. And then finally we have Justice card. Okay. So, pile number 1. When it comes to your connection to this person and how you meet, how you connect with one another, first and foremost, it does feel like this is one of those like divine interventions. This is the type of person, you know, when we talk about like that red string of fate, or we talk about like somebody that you meet and you feel like you already know them, or it's this feeling like we were meant to meet. That's what's coming through for this group. There's almost like this faded energy here of you and your future spouse are supposed to connect, you are supposed to come together and meet. And I do think that you both manifest each other into each other's lives. And this really feels like you come together at the perfect time. There's almost an element of divine timing to this. We have the Magician, we have the High Priestess, and we have Justice card. This is what you have earned. This is what you have called in. And this is true for both of you. You both manifest each other. You both call each other in. And when you meet, it's because you are meant to meet. I do think for some of you, you will meet this person online. So this could be somebody who is at a distance from you initially. For others of you, this is somebody that you meet online and then you meet in person, and maybe they are very close to where you already are located, vice versa. But I do think for some of you, there may be a level of you meet this person online and initially they may not necessarily be exactly from where you are from. Meaning, like, this could be something that either starts out as long distance, or this could be for some of you someone that when you connect with them, they have just moved into the area. And I feel like for most of you, pile number 1, it's them coming to you. It could be you going to them, for some of you, but I feel like for most of you, wherever you are based, this person, they would be the ones kind of moving in or traveling to you. As far as the meeting itself, it feels almost like meant to be. And this can play out in many different ways. So, for those of you that resonate with the message that you meet this person online, it could be that you join a dating app and you were kind of on the fence about it. You finally decide, and the first person that you communicate with is this person. Or maybe you take a break and then you finally decide to come back in, and when you come back in, like, you match with this person. There feels like something kind of just, I wasn't really thinking about it, or it kind of just happened, and it happens pretty quickly. For those of you that meet this person in a more traditional way that doesn't involve like online dating, it feels the same way. It feels like very meant to be, very we connected. We were at the right place at the right time. This could be you are running some errands and you run into one another. This could be you are at work and this person comes into your work. Whatever this is, pile number 1, the overall feeling is this is meant to be. We are meant to connect. We are meant to meet. And there is a level of recognition. I am not saying this is like love at first sight. If that's something that you believe in, or that's something that you have experienced, for those of you that may have already met this person, take that as it resonates. But I think for most of you, there's at the very least this level of this feels important. I feel like I've known you, or I feel like this is a moment where I'm going to look back and there's going to be a big change because you came into my life. That's what's coming through here. And this does feel like both people are prepared. Both people are ready when you meet. So even if there is distance here, it's, we're going to work around it because I'm ready. So this doesn't feel like somebody's going to be ready while the other person is not, or somebody's giving too much while the other person is not. There's something very give and take, very equal about this. And this feels like two people that are fully ready. And again, it's you've manifested one another into your lives. And for some of you, if you haven't met this person yet, you're already manifesting them in. And I will say, when this person comes into your life, pile number one, when you meet, when your story starts, both of you are in a place where you are emotionally ready, emotionally available, and you are, if you're not seeking it, you are very open to it. This doesn't feel like it's going to require a lot of convincing. All right, let's take a look at their heart's devotion. So, what they'll deeply feel for you and how they'll show their love for you. We have the Five of Cups, Queen of Swords. We have the Moon, the Wheel of Fortune, and we have the Three of Cups. Okay, so pile number one. When it comes to how they'll feel for you, there's a lot of deep emotions here, right? We have the moon. And the moon is all about like those deep, deep emotions. It can obviously represent like fears and those sort of things. But the moon also represents like we see the wolves there, and the moon is tied in tarot. It's actually tied to Pisces and not Cancer. But it is speaking about deep emotion, right? Kind of being overtaken with emotion. And I do think that this person is going to love you very deeply. They're going to care for you very deeply. And I also think that this is somebody where there is a friendship. There is this sense of we are friends, we get along, we understand each other, we can talk about anything. There's a lot of supportive energy that your person gives to you. And I think that the way that your future spouse is going to show their love is through support, through understanding, through friendship. This feels like somebody who is going to be very aware of what you need at different points in time. So this is somebody who's going to understand your love language. This is somebody who's going to understand that you're having a hard day at work and that you just need to vent. Versus I think they're also going to understand that, you're having a great day and you just need to celebrate, or that you at this point in time maybe you do need advice, or maybe you need somebody who's just going to hold you and not say a word, or you're going to need somebody who's going to allow you to vent and vent back with you. This feels like the type of person that if you come home from work and you are complaining about a coworker doing something or something not going right, they're going to know exactly what you're talking about because they pay attention. It's not going to be like, oh, wait, who's that? Or, who? What? It's, yeah, oh, I can't believe that happened. Like, can you believe so-and-so? Or that sucks. Like, they're going to be able to communicate with you in a way that feels like you are fully aligned. Like, they have been listening. They get you. They see you. They know you. They hear you. I also think that this is somebody who they're going to stand up for you. They're going to show up and really stand up for you. That's coming through loud and clear here. And I'm not trying to like bring up that you need somebody to protect you or to stand up for you. But like this person, if they need to stand up for you, they will. And if somebody does something or says something, they're going to take your side and they're going to make it known. This could also be like maybe family members that maybe don't treat you right all the time. Like I could see this person being like, no, you're not going to talk to my spouse this way. You're not going to talk to the love of my life this way. I also think that there is, again, that base of friendship that is built here. So it's somebody that you get to kind of play around with. There's a very playful energy here between both of you, that when things are not heavy It's very playful instead. It's very just like, let's joke around. Let's have a good time together. But most importantly, what I think this is speaking to is when times are hard, when times are heavy, your spouse, your future spouse, is going to know exactly how to respond, how to connect with you. And they're going to show their love in whichever way that you need it. Sometimes that's going to look like, I'm just going to hold your hand. At other times is, I have advice. At other times it's, let me make you a meal. Let me just remind you how great you are. And at other times it's like, let's go out and have a good time. And I do think there's a lot of just like hugging, cuddling, kissing, for this group, a lot of physical touch, intimacy that plays out for this group. And one thing that I also want to say for you, pile number one, is this person is going to know what the triggers are. This person is going to understand what makes you kind of react or what triggers you. And they're also going to know what your glimmers are, right? What those things that make you happy and excited and they make you feel like you are exactly where you belong are. And this feels like somebody that is going to be there for the good and the bad. And they're not going to leave your side. Let's take a look at the bond beyond words. So the emotional spiritual connection that makes your relationship unbreakable. What is the emotional and spiritual connection here? We have judgment, the fool, and the magician. This is the second magician. Yes, it is. Look at the magician there. Second magician for this group. Is this second judgment too? No, I'm making that up. Pile number one. As far as your bond beyond words, right? The spiritual, the emotional connection. This is a very spiritual connection. And I do think this is kind of a high level soulmate, divine counterpart type of connection where there's a blueprint. You are meant to accomplish something together. You are meant to connect with this person. It's almost like both of your souls decided to create opportunities for you both to come together and create a life together. And you both are very aware of that connection, of that bond. It's, you can feel it. You know that it's there. I do think this is a bit of one of those connections where you can't even explain it, but you just know that that connection is there. And I also think that this is a connection that is very interesting in the sense of it almost heals a part of you to be in this connection. This is true for both you and your future spouse. It's you are both healing through this connection and through being connected to one another. But in addition to that, it's like you're also going and building a brand new beginning, a brand new almost like karmic cycle with this person. So for those of you that believe in past lives, this could be somebody that you had a past life with and you kind of come together with them. And what you do is you clear out any karma, and karma is not good or bad. It's cause and effect. It is what it is. As humans, we want to kind of give it a good or bad and look at it from one of those lenses, but it is what it is. And it feels like you clear out the old karma, you clear out kind of anything that was left from a past life. And at the same time, you create something completely new. So I'm kind of being shown a tree, and that tree, the roots are growing in, and then the tree is growing up. So as above, so below type of energy, as within, so without. It feels very spiritual. It feels like you both are creating something completely new. And I am being drawn to the butterflies there. So transformative energy. Something brand new that you get to build together And the bond itself, I mean, we have three major arcana cards. It feels unbreakable. It does feel like you may not know exactly how to explain it to other people. I absolutely feel like for your future spouse, they may really struggle with explaining it to other people, but it's just the type of bond that you have that you can feel and that you can lean into, that you don't even have to explain. And I think it gets to the point where it's like I don't have to explain this to anyone, or I don't have to put this into words. I can just trust what this feels like. But there is a very strong spiritual connection here and emotional connection as well. And again, you both create this. You both bring this together, and you both come together as a result of the work that you do. Let's take a look at the life that you'll create together. So, what's the lifestyle, the home, the family, anything that wants to come through, the shared passions? We have the Emperor, Four of Wands. Yeah, so this is absolutely the person that you will marry, and the Knight of Cups. So, when it comes to the lifestyle, the home, all of those things, I do think there is a lot of romance here. I will say, I think that for my pile number ones, what you would consider romance is probably different than what other people would consider romance. Like, this does look like, I come home and I have flowers, or I pick something up for you and here's a gift. But I think this is so much deeper than that, because if there is a gift, it feels like it's very thoughtful. It's very well put together. It's, I took the time to think about you, and I didn't just throw money at something. I came up with something that was very meaningful to you. For some of you, your engagement ring, your wedding bands, something along those lines is going to be like custom made, or it's going to be very unique, very special, made just for you, or you and your partner design something together that feels different than what is the norm, than what is the typical, like, I just went to the jewelry store and I got this ring. It could be that there's something very unique to both of you. Or if it's not like the wedding bands or the engagement ring, it could be like they get something made for you, like a necklace or earrings, or if you're the type of person that you have a collection and you collect something, like this person is going to get this for you. For some reason, I'm being shown a Beanie Baby. I don't know if somebody here collects Beanie Babies, but like I'm being shown like a mint condition Beanie Baby. Um, and I know those things can go for a lot of money. So it just feels like whatever you're into and whatever your spouse is into, you both get one another, and you really try to show up in the ways that matter, that say, I see you, I hear you, I know you, this is what is meant for you. So this isn't like somebody who's just getting something for the sake of getting something. And if they're coming home with flowers, it's like, here are your flowers, and they're picking the colors and the type of flowers that are very meaningful either to you, or flowers and colors that they know are meaningful. This is somebody who is very thoughtful, and so are you. And I think that's something that you're both going to have in common. As far as the lifestyle, I do think this is a relationship where we're going to keep romance alive. We're going to keep the connection alive. If you decide to have children, or if you already have them, this is the type of relationship where we're going to get a babysitter and we're going to go out on a date, or we're going to call one of the in-laws in and we're going to go out on a date. Or, we're going to be intentional about spending time together, and intentional about keeping the relationship going, and keeping the romance and the love alive. I will also say, I do think this is a very traditional, we're going to move, we're going to buy a house, we're going to establish a family. Now, for some of you, that does involve children. For others of you, it may not. Take that as it resonates. But this does feel like we want to buy a house. We want to grow old together. Yes, we're going to take vacations, but this feels very much we are kind of rooted in. We're picking a place and we're going to invest and build our foundations in this place, and we are going to pay our house off, we're going to pay our cars off, and we're going to live in this place. We may travel, but this is kind of our home base. That feels very significant for this group of just kind of settling down and laying down roots that are going to grow and expand. And I do think this is a group. I know this is a future spouse reading, but sometimes people, are listening to a future spouse reading, but they're not necessarily looking to get married. Like maybe they just want to live with their person. But pile number one, for me, this really does feel like we're going to walk down the aisle. We're going to do the engagement. We're going to do the wedding. We're going to have a wedding day, a honeymoon. This feels very traditional in that sense. All right, let's see the joy that you'll share together. So, what are those like little moments, the laughter, the good times? Let's take a look. The Star, the Lovers. Okay, pile number one. Get that. So pile number one, when it comes to little moments, what I think is wonderful for you and your future spouse is that I do think you are two people that can really appreciate when your partner shows up, and you can appreciate this is kind of like giving just slow down and smell the coffee and or smell the flowers, if you will, where we can kind of slow down and realize that these little moments are exactly what's going to matter. We don't have to wait for an anniversary to create a special moment, or to give each other a gift, or to tell each other how we feel about one another. This feels like it's very magical day to day, and you are creating moments in your day-to-day life or on a regular basis where you can just connect to one another. And I do want to say, for my pile number ones, if you are somebody who you want children, or maybe you already have them, this relationship really feels like, even when there are small children around, which can be a very difficult time because there's so much that you need to do and you need to be a caretaker and a provider, that you're still finding moments in time to connect with your spouse, with your person, of just being able to say, I see you, I appreciate you. Here, I was thinking about you, or just a text message. Thank you for being you. I also see like if I'm also seeing like post-its, like little love letters on post-its that are kind of posted like maybe around the kitchen, or maybe in an office somewhere, like if there's a home office. There's something along those lines, or if somebody packs somebody's lunch, they may put in like a love note in there, and it feels like it's a post-it. I'm seeing like a post-it. Yeah, I'm seeing like, those yellow, pink, that pack of post-its. I think green. I forgot the other colors. But that's coming through here. And I also think that there's a lot of moments in this relationship where you continuously choose one another, and you choose the relationship, and that strengthens the relationship. And when you look back, that's what you are going to remember. That's what you are going to hold near and dear to your heart. Let's take a look at how you'll weather the storms. And what's interesting is there is quite the storm happening outside as I'm getting to this part. So, we're looking at how you'll grow stronger through challenges and protect each other's hearts. First and foremost, we have the Tower. We have the Four of Swords. And we have the King of Cups. Second times we see this King of Cups. So, pile number one. When it comes to how you'll weather storms, I think first and foremost, what you need to know is that no matter what happens, no matter what comes up, you and your spouse are going to be able to see it through and get to the other side of it. I do feel this is a relationship where it doesn't feel like either of you have one foot in and the other foot out. There's almost this reassurance that's coming in that I am going to be here no matter what, and you are going to be here no matter what. Like, you both have that sense of devotion. That's the word. Devotion to one another, where regardless of what's happening, there is this inner knowing of I've got you, you've got me, we're going to face it together. Whether it's career related, whether it's something coming up in the relationship, whatever comes up, we are a team, we are a united front, we are going to face it together. There's also this level of caretaking that happens where you are very protective of your future spouse and they are very protective of you. And what do I mean by that? No matter what's going on, you've got their back, they've got your back. And I also think that there is almost this teamwork dynamic between the two of you where if one of you is just exhausted, the other one can kind of step up and say, today I'm going to give my 100 so that you can relax, so that you can take a little bit of a timeout. Or today you are at 20%, I'm going to be at 80. It's this very equal give and take, but also I've got you covered for those moments where perhaps you're not able to show up in the way that you usually are. And there's a lot of like respect, love, generosity is coming through as well here, and devotion. Like, regardless of what comes our way, I am devoted to you. I am devoted to this relationship, to this marriage, and I'm going to see it all the way through. And I also think that this is a relationship that, again, whenever the one of you cannot show up, the other one is going to step up. And there is this desire to be better, to be the best versions of yourselves, because you know that that is what your spouse deserves, and more importantly, you also know that that's what you deserve. I really do feel there's a lot of patience here as well, and a lot of supportive, nurturing energy here. Let's take a look at the love that grows over time, and we are looking at how your love evolves, matures, and deepens over the years. We have the Six of Winter, which is the Six of Swords, and we have the Eight of Pentacles, which is the Eight of Autumn, which is the Eight of Pentacles. So, pile number one, again, this is, I think, absolutely beautiful for a long-term relationship, and I think that this is the reason this is a relationship that's going to stand the test of time. Because, it's a future spouse reading, but just because you marry somebody, unfortunately, doesn't always mean that you're going to spend the rest of your life with them. But I do think, like, based on the energies that are here, especially if you already know this person and you already have these energies playing out in your life, this is absolutely going to be someone who's going to be with you through thick and thin, who's going to be with you through the hard times, the good times, the ugly times, the great times. And what I think it's beautiful about this relationship is that there's so much transformative energy where there's the recognition that we are going to grow and evolve as people. And therefore, this relationship is going to grow and evolve as we grow older, as we grow into ourselves, as we grow to understand ourselves at a deeper level. Because I do think for some of you, when you meet this person, you may be in like your mid to late 20s. It could be early 30s. And if this is somebody that you're spending your life with, again, you're going to evolve so much. And they're going to do the same with you because they are growing as a person as well. But because you are going to nurture the connection and you are going to practice at this, right? We're going to keep talking and keep having the conversations. We're going to talk about our dreams and our desires, and perhaps if they're changing, if they're shifting in any ways, we're going to talk about that as well. We are going to discuss everything as it comes up. We are going to, make it a point to keep the health of the relationship as good as possible. And that's exactly what happens. It's like as you grow and evolve, you are able to grow and evolve the relationship as well into something that is that continues to expand with both of you and continues to shift as both of you are shifting into the current versions of yourselves. Let's take a look at your forever after. So, the lasting imprint your love will leave on each other and the world around you. So, this is like your happily ever after, your forever after. Let's take a look at what we have here. The Eight of Cups with August and Ace of Cups with Enchanted. Very interesting because both of these cards are about choosing oneself, and both of these cards have to do with self-love. When we talk about the Eight of Cups, we are talking about a card that says, I choose myself, I love myself enough to do what I need to do that is right for me. And the Ace of Cups is a card that's a reminder to fill your own cup before you try to fill anyone else's cup, right? You cannot give from an empty cup. You cannot drain yourself to fill someone else's cup. And I think this is a very beautiful message that's coming through because it's speaking to the lasting imprint that you're going to leave not only on each other, but on the world around you is the fact that self-love, self-respect, self-awareness is exactly what allowed you to have this beautiful type of connection, type of relationship. And I think there's an important message that you and your future spouse are always going to choose each other, but through that, you are still choosing yourself, that you make sure that you understand that the I is just as important as the us. And I think that the world around you is going to see what a healthy relationship looks like, what healthy codependency looks like, and what healthy independence looks like as well. Because I do think there is a very good balance for both of you between the self and the us, and making sure that honoring us does not dishonor or disrespect the I, right? Yes, there will be times where compromise is needed, but there's still so much love and so much respect at the center of this. And there's still two people who are constantly choosing each other every single day. And I think that, we have the Enchanted song there. I think that's a beautiful sentiment that is in this connection for my pile number ones. But pile number one, let's take a look at some advice for you. And we have tact. I speak and act with care, remembering that impulsive words or a harsh tone can sometimes hurt others. If it feels like I'm walking on eggshells, I'll remind myself that those eggshells might actually be a shop full of china and I might actually be a bowl. Then I'll remind myself to stop mixing metaphors. And I think these were meant to be reminders for you in general. But I think when it comes to this tact card being here, I think this is something that is going to be important and something that is going to be practiced by you and your future spouse in this connection. So, yes, we are honest, but we are loving, we are caring, we are kind. Then we have resilience. Cannot speak. Sticks and stones may break my bones, and unkind words can somehow drain every bit of joy and color from my once rosy life. But nothing can permanently damage the real me. I love myself, I cherish myself, and I vow to remember that I'm always camped out in the depths of myself, even when I don't feel like very much of myself. And pile number one, whatever, first and foremost, this relationship is going to be very resilient because this relationship is going to constantly evolve and transform, right? But also, pile number one, whatever you're going through at this time, if you're going through a very hard moment or a hard time, this is a reminder that everything is going to be okay and that you are very resilient and that life is not sending you anything that you cannot handle. But let's take a look. So we have a goddess card here. This could be a message. This could be a goddess that you're being invited to work with. And we have Astara with fruition, ease, and relaxation. And I think that's the energy, right? I think for some of you, if you are going through a hard time, it's very hard to kind of ease or relax when that's happening. But I also think that there is a message coming through, especially around this relationship, this future spouse relationship, that it's already on its way to you. That you don't have to force anything and you don't have to do anything other than follow your intuition and be present in the present moment. That you are deserving and worthy of love. Pile number one, that is what I have for you. Claim it in the comments. I welcome love with ease. Let me know what else you'd like to see next. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all the things that YouTube loves. Stay tuned for the next poll that is usually posted on Monday. Thank you for allowing me to read for you. I am sending so much love, so many blessings, and I hope to talk to you soon. Bye for now. Hello, pile number two. Welcome to your reading. This is going to be your reading if you were drawn to the emerald ring. Look at how pretty that is. We're going to place that right over there. As a reminder, this is a general reading. Take what resonates, leave the rest behind. You know yourself best. If it does not fit, do not force it to fit. I did do a reading breakdown at the beginning, which tells you exactly what will be covered in this specific reading. I highly suggest that you check that out. It is time-stamped below. But to get started, we are going to start by looking at who you are and who your future spouse is. And for this portion of the reading, my intention is that you, my viewer, are on the left and your future spouse is on the right. That being said, sometimes the energies can be flip-flopped where you can be here and your future spouse here. And other times it could be that you relate to both. That could just be that your future spouse and you have some similarities, which, you know, like attracts like, so that would make sense. But if this doesn't sound like you and this doesn't sound like you, this is probably not your pile. So try choosing a different pile. But let's get started. So person number one, we have the dragon, storms. Who are you, pile number two? And manifest. For person number two, we have the dragon and the dragonfly. And we have the quiet one. And we have intuition. Wow. Okay. These are two very These feel very powerful, but let's get started. So, for the dragon, this is a spirit card in this deck, which basically means all 12 zodiac signs are represented. We also have storms. I would say that is water energy, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. And we have manifest. I would say that is fire energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Take those as extra confirmation. Again, on this side, we have all 12 of them being represented. And we'll talk about this side shortly. But let's talk about who this dragon person is. Because this is somebody, not even somebody, this is a couple that feels very strong and powerful. But when it comes to the dragon, I really do get the feeling of this is somebody who is very wise. This is somebody who I would say is an old soul. To be represented by the dragon, there is something absolutely magical about you. And there is something that feels very old soul like about you. And I think one thing that really kind of stands out about this dragon person is how resilient this person is. And I do think that the dragon person has a very powerful third eye. And I do think that this is somebody who tends to really. There's some spiritual gifts, there's some psychic, spiritual, intuitive gifts that this person has. Now, there's many different people watching, so it may show up in different ways. But this could be somebody who's very clairvoyant. This could be somebody who has prophetic dreams. This could be someone who is a medium. This could be someone who's clairsentient. This could be somebody who's claircognizant. This could be someone who has a mix of gifts. This dragon person feels very awakened. But it also feels like it's been a journey for this dragon person to get to the point where they're at. Because it feels like the dragon person has gone through multiple spiritual awakenings. And it almost feels like every single piece of the spiritual awakening has kind of allowed this dragon person to connect with different aspects of themselves. So this feels like someone that is very aware of who they are and the different aspects that make them themselves, right? And I'll say that this dragon person is also very good at seeing truth and looking past appearances. And that's not only true when it comes to self, but I think it's very true when it comes to other people and situations in general. So this is somebody who is very good at reading the room, very good at reading other people, someone who is very good at picking up on what exactly is happening around them. And again, this wasn't something that just happened overnight. This has been through a lot of hard work. And I would even say for some, the dragon probably had a very difficult upbringing where there were some very deep lessons that were probably a little bit before their time, if you want to put it in that way. And I'll also say that for the dragon person, there's something about the eyes. There's something about the gaze of this dragon person that feels very significant. So this could be eye color. This could be the way that this person looks at other people. This could be intensity level. There's something about the eyes that feels very significant for this dragon person. And for some, it could even be that this person wears contact lenses, like just different colored eye contact lenses that's coming through. So take that if it resonates. And one thing, and I also think that for some, the dragon may have done like mirror work where they've done like a lot of healing work through mirror work. So take that if it resonates. But I'll also say for this dragon person, they're very good at seeing the deeper message, at receiving the deeper message. And again, I do think this is somebody who has had a very, um, I'll say, challenging life. Like this doesn't feel like things have been easy peasy. This feels like things have been quite challenging at times. And the dragon person is someone who is constantly pushing forward. And I think that at times the dragon person is just absolutely exhausted. But I also think that this is someone who is not going to give up. And as a matter of fact, I think the dragon person, when we talk about dragons, we talk about they spit fire, right? They breathe fire. And I think that's exactly what this dragon person does, except that their fire is transformation. Their fire is destruction and creation. And I think that this dragon person is someone that throughout their life they've had to kind of dismantle and rebuild different areas of their lives. So this could be like somebody who's had multiple careers because they figured out that the career that they picked wasn't for them. Or this could be someone who's been through significant relationships and now they've figured out what doesn't work for them, and they've had to walk away from people that perhaps were not the best thing for them. This dragon person has had to do a lot of restarting and beginning anew. But in order to do that, they've also had to close some very important chapters in their life. And they're very familiar with difficult terrain. And they're also very good at seeing the beauty in life and finding things to be grateful for, finding things to live for, if you will. Because there's something very bright about this dragon. And I'll also say that this dragon person is very good when it comes to manifesting. This is somebody who has a very strong solar plexus and a very strong heart chakra. And they're very good at manifesting what they want. Though I will say, I think for the dragon, it doesn't always come easy. So it's not like they ask for it and it, boom, comes up and it's created. It's more of they ask for it, they figure out how they're going to get it, and they put in the hard work to get to the other side of that. And I think that this person may have a connection to the color green, because the color green is standing out to me. Plus, if you chose this pile, you chose the emerald stone. So I think that definitely speaks to the color green being significant here. And there's a lot of healing energy that this dragon has to them that comes up, that definitely comes up through their life. Like this feels like somebody who is constantly going through healing cycles and constantly evolving through their healing. But let's talk about the dragonfly, because I do think these two have a lot in common. And I will say these two are probably introverted. I think I forgot to mention that. But when it comes to the dragonfly, this is also somebody who is very wise. This is also someone who has kind of like the old soul vibe to them. And this dragonfly person is also very good at seeing through deception, seeing through and finding what is real. And one thing about these two that's going to be interesting is that whenever these two come together, and if you already know this person, you know this, it's almost like they cannot hide their true selves from one another. This is kind of like holding up a mirror and looking in the mirror and finding your other half reflected back at you. As a matter of fact, for some, it's going to feel like it's you being reflected at you, but a different version of you. So there is a lot of, I see you for who you are, and you cannot hide from me. And I think that's going to feel pretty intense for these two, especially at the beginning, because I don't think they're used to somebody having a similar gift to the one that they have, which is somebody seeing right through them. And this isn't to say that these two are hiding something from one another, but there is a level of vulnerability like no other that comes through when somebody can see every part of who you are so intensely. But back to the dragonfly, because I do think this is somebody who is very creative. I would not be surprised if this is somebody who has like a creative talent, a creative gift, somebody that does something creatively that feels very very much like self-expression, but it could be something that they do that also is bringing in income. For some, that's not going to be for all. But this dragonfly person has also been through quite a bit. And I also think that this dragonfly person kind of keeps to themselves. And one thing about the dragonfly, right, when we think about the animal, is that it brings light. It radiates light. And that's the case for this dragonfly person. There's something about this person that really just feels like they are radiating light. And that light feels so bright and so welcoming and so warm. And I do think that the dragonfly is constantly going through self-growth and self-improvement. And that the dragonfly is always trying to understand themselves. And I think that the dragonfly person is someone who is very intelligent and very much somebody who operates from the mental sphere. Because I do feel like this is somebody who is really trying to understand themselves through their mind. And I think that sometimes there is a level of frustration that comes up for this dragonfly person. Because what they are not seeing is that some things are not logical and some things are not meant to make sense through the logical mind. And speaking of, I just realized I forgot to mention the zodiac signs. So for the dragonfly, we have air, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. We also have earth, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, and we have water with Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Take those as extra confirmation. And I think part of what the dragonfly is here to do at this time, in this lifetime, is to become more comfortable with their intuition. Because I think that the dragonfly feels more comfortable with what is known, what can be proved, and what is tangible. And I think part of what these two are here to do together is to learn to see the world through the eyes of the other. And we're going to get into all of that, but I really want to mention that because it's almost like the strengths and weaknesses are kind of like mirroring, right? So this person's weaknesses are this person's strengths and vice versa. So that's coming through. Let's actually jump into this. So let's take a look at your first chapter. And this is how you'll meet, what sets your story in motion. This is kind of like the meet cute, right? If this was a movie, a show, a book, the meet cute. Oh, okay. The lovers. We're starting out strong, the world. Knight of Swords. Two of Pentacles. Okay. And the Hanged One. I'm going to put that over there. So, pile number 2. As far as how your story begins, your first chapter together, I think this is a relationship that this could be somebody that you work with, somebody that you went to school with, somebody that you have already had some sort of I was going to say that you've already had some sort of contact with. For some of you, you do know who this is already. For those of you that do not, there's some sort of real world. I'm going to do quotations around that. But like, it feels like this person is involved in your day-to-day life at some point, and that's how they come into your life. Whether it's through work, whether it's through friends, through school, there's something about this person is put on your path when you are doing what you are meant to be doing, whether that is going to work, going to school, whether that is through a friend. Like, this person has some sort of connection to you. And I think that how your story starts is, first and foremost, I am going to get this out of the way because I think it's coming in very clearly. So I want to kind of get this part out of the way, and then we're going to talk about everyone else. I think for some of you, this is a possible reunion, reconnection. Let's kind of restart things back up. For some of you, this could be somebody that you kind of met, you had a false start with, somebody that you met and you were interested in, and they were interested in you, but due to circumstances, where you were at in life, what was happening in life, it couldn't be at that point in time. And down the line, you reconnect. I do not think this is somebody that you had a bad breakup with. This could be somebody that maybe felt like it was just very intense and you both didn't know how to deal with it. So maybe you break up, or you just decide to go your separate ways. It doesn't even really take off. Or if it does, it kind of ends in a very respectful way of, we just can't focus on this right now. Eventually down the line, they come back into your life. That's one story. For those of you that that's not the case and you don't already know who this is, and this could be somebody that you meet and there's a false start and eventually you reconnect again, even if you haven't met them already. That could very well be part of the story. But for those of you that haven't met, that hasn't happened, that's not the case for you. I do feel this is somebody that you meet when you are in the middle of a transition, when you are in the middle of kind of just going through a transformation in your life where you are closing some chapters and opening a new chapter. And I think for both of you, whether you are the dragon or the dragonfly, I do think that is a common experience of, I need to kind of completely transform the energy, and I am a brand new different person, or I am kind of embarking on a different journey than the one I was on. So for those of you where that resonates, it feels like you close a cycle out, you are starting something new, and there comes in this person. They could come in through work, so this could be like a coworker. This could be somebody that you meet through a coworker, somebody that you meet at your workplace. This could also be somebody that is introduced to you by a friend or someone that you know, an acquaintance. And I do think regardless for this group, I have to say it because the more I see it, the more I'm looking, the more I'm seeing this. Whether you know this person or not, I do think this is somebody that you meet. There's a connection. There's interest. It may not kick off immediately, whether it's because it's the wrong time, or, you know, you do try things out and it feels very intense and you decide to kind of go your separate ways. That's kind of coming through no matter which way I look at it. It's still coming through as there is a level of a pause here. But it doesn't feel like it's a bad breakup. It doesn't feel like there's any betrayal. It just feels like for whatever reason, there is almost like a pause, and it kind of results in a break or a false start that eventually becomes an actual start. So, for some of you, this could even be somebody that you meet when you are younger and you kind of go your own separate ways. Like, let's say this is somebody that you meet when you are in high school or in college and you go your own separate ways because you're not in the place where you want to start a relationship or where it's feasible to start a relationship. It feels like you meet up at some point in your life where there is a major transformation happening for one or both of you, and that's when this takes off. All right, so let's keep going. We're going to look at their heart's devotion. So, what they'll deeply feel for you and how they'll show their love. Let's take a look. I'm very curious here. Ew, 10 of Cups. Okay. Knight of Cups. This person's in love. The King of Wands. Okay. The Page of Cups. Sheesh. And Justice. Pile number 2. First and foremost, what is this person going to feel? They're in love. They are in love. You're just everything that they want. They love you. They feel the butterflies when you are around. There's something about the way that they're going to look at you. Like they're smitten. This person loves you. This person likes you. This person desires you. There's a lot of passion here. But the thing with the passion here, it's very soft. It's very sweet. It's very based on love. Like this is fiery, but like a soft, slow burning fire. This isn't like a just blazing, out of control type of fiery love. This feels very slow burning, very very tempered. That's how I would describe this. I have to say that. Like there is a lot of passion, a lot of attraction, a lot of chemistry here, but at the base of that is love. It's romance. It's deep caring. This person sees you as their ideal partner. This person sees you as the person that they want to have a life with, build their life with. For some of you, definitely children involved here with this 10 of Cups being here, this Page of Cups. There's something very sweet about this. There's something just very this almost feels like a first love, very sweet, mature, and it's very interesting because first love is very sweet, but I wouldn't always say it's mature, right? But this feels very sweet, very young, very innocent, but also it feels very mature and very grounded. This person is going to recognize that you are their soulmate. Like this person is going to feel like you were meant to meet, you were meant to connect. There's that sense of fate here that I think this person is really going to lean into, of just I knew the moment I met pile number 2, and they may say that, and I feel like for you, pile number 2, it's going to be kind of silly when they say that, because I don't think they act on it right away, but it's almost like they're going to say that, and I do think they mean it. But I also think, again, for this group, it does feel like there may be a period of time where things don't really take off, and there could be fears at the center of this, because again, this feels like one of those, this person can see me, this person can see through me, and that can be very uncomfortable. But when it comes to how they'll show their love, this is somebody who's going to tell you. I really do think that words of affirmation, physical touch, is going to be very important for this person. Acts of service as well. There's a lot of touchy-feely happening here. But I also think they're really going to, like, they're going to really communicate how they're feeling. Like, this is somebody who's not going to be afraid to say, I love you. They're not going to be afraid to say, like, how much they love you, what you mean to them. This is almost kind of giving like that gushy type of love that's just, you know, when those two people are in the room and they're just like either all over each other, not in like a crass way, but just like you could tell they're just so giddy with excitement and in love with one another. And it's been like 5 years and you're just like, listen, you're still in the honeymoon phase. That's kind of the type of couple that I think you and your person are going to be. And I do think that this person is really gonna like to like hold your hand and like as you are walking, they're like holding your hand. They're like touching you in some way. If you are sitting down somewhere, they're like their hand is like on your knee, on your leg. They're holding your hand. This is somebody who is driving and they're holding your hand. This feels like physical touch is going to be very important here. And I also think that this is somebody who's going to want to have a good time with you. Like they're going to want to enjoy life with you. And that's part of how they're going to show you how they feel is by planning things out and doing things and like having a good time together. For some of you, there's something um somebody may play like D&D or like a gamer type situation or like anime. There's something around that that's coming up. Take that only if it resonates, because I think that it's something that you would enjoy doing together. So take that if it resonates. But let's take a look at your bond beyond words, so the emotional spiritual connection that makes your relationship unbreakable. First, we have the Tower, the Chariot, sheesh, and the World. Okay. Did we have the World? Yes. So this is the second World for this group. So, pile number two. What I think is going to make your bond unbreakable and what's going to connect you beyond words. First and foremost, I do think for this group, there is a tower moment. And I want to make sure that I really emphasize a tower moment isn't necessarily bad. Yes, a tower moment can be something like, I lost my job. It can be something like, you know, a relationship came to an end or somebody betrayed me. A tower moment can absolutely be that. A tower moment can also be, I am minding my business and I see the person that is going to be my future spouse, and it's kind of a lightning bolt that hits me because it's the feelings, it's the knowing, it's that sense of this feels very important and I don't know how. Because I do think there is a tower moment between you two, but this feels more of like just like you are struck by lightning when you connect with one another. That's what that feels like, and it feels very significant in the bond that you are going to build together. I also think that the bond that is unbreakable is that you are both on similar paths and that your life, like both of your lives, are going to kind of connect in a way that you are both moving in the same direction and you are both fully in alignment with where you are headed in your life. So there is almost this point in time where it honestly feels like pile number two, and this sounds almost corny because it's just corny, where it's like, this is when I meet this person and this is my life before it and this is my life after it. My life after I meet this person, after I meet the person that is going to be my spouse, my future spouse, is never the same. And I think what's interesting for this group is that for those of you where you've already met this person and you know who this is and you are going through a period of either there was a false start, or there was a separation, or you did try things out and you decided to break up. However this plays out, there is that sense of, I know me and so are going to reconnect again. And I think for those of you that haven't met this person yet, when you meet them, you will feel that sense of nothing is ever going to be the same again. But I have to say, for my pile number 2s, I think for a good amount of you, you already know who we are talking about. And again, I want to emphasize, this isn't somebody who is abusive. This isn't somebody who is going to mistreat you. This is somebody who they're just, for some reason, was either a false start or there was a breakup, but it feels very respectful. And it feels like both of you were very honest with one another to some extent, because I do think that both of you may be kind of holding back a little bit as far as the intensity of what you felt and what came up. Let's see pile number 2, the life that you'll create together. So we are going to be looking at the lifestyle, the home, the family, shared passions, anything that wants to come up. So we have the Wheel, the Magician. Sheesh, we have a lot of majors coming out. And the Two of Wands. So pile number 2, the life that you and your future spouse are going to create together is something completely different than the life that you are currently living. This feels like there is a shift where you both work very hard to create a life that is in alignment with both of you. And I think part of what that is going to entail is both of you kind of coming out of your comfort zone and being more willing to go after your desires and to create from a place of just the sky's the limit. I do think when it comes to the type of life or like family that you're going to create, I do think this is a group where you may end up like moving together, or you may end up like if this is, let's say you live in a small town. This is like, all right, let's move to the city. Or let's move to a completely different state. Or maybe let's even move to a different country. I do think for some of my pile number 2s, there may also be a level of traveling on a regular basis that comes up here. Take that if it resonates, because it's not going to be for everyone. But you are creating a life together that is like what you want it to be. And again, what you want and what your future spouse wants is very much in alignment. I do think for this group, it's quite possible that somebody moves or both of you move. Somebody relocates or both of you relocate. And it could be that you have a lifestyle that allows for constant travel, that allows for like moving around and exploring and moving about. This could be like a military family. This could be just we have remote jobs that we can do from anywhere so we can travel. Or maybe this is somebody who maybe it's like, you know, we teach. So we have a few months off in the summer, so we travel then. But there's something that feels very, very flexible about the living style. I do think for some of you, there may be children if that's what you want. I think for others of you, it's more just you and your future spouse that's coming through. There's a lot of adventure here, and there's a lot of pushing beyond what you know. And that's why I think for some of you, there's going to be almost like, let's move around, let's explore. Let's take a look at what is the joy that you'll share. So the laughter moments, the little moments, anything that wants to come up. The Five of Wands, okay, and the High Priestess. So, pile number two, I think part of what you and your future spouse are going to enjoy is going to be kind of like friendly competition. I do think there is that sense of kind of having almost like, and I do think for some of you, you could be gamers. So it could be like we just play against each other and we have fun with it. So just like that, um, I want to be the best. I'm the best. I'm going to beat you at this, whether it's a game, whether it's like maybe some form of like exercise. There's something like that's very competitive about both of you, but this is done in very good nature. I don't think either one of you is taking it too seriously, or either one of you is getting too like upset if you lose the bet or if you lose the thing. Like it feels like there's a lot of like friendly competition. It feels like there's a lot of just like bantering that's happening here for both of you. um I also think there is this moment of just knowing each other so deeply that you just know what the other person needs. So I think that you know when it's time to like have a good time and kind of tease one another and have fun in that way. But also I think there is that knowledge of it's time to kind of stop and be in the present moment and check in on my spouse and see what they need at this time. I do think you both are also very creative, so there could be moments where you connect and you share like your artistic endeavors. So that could be like, we're going to sit together in silence while you draw, while you paint, while you color, and I'm going to write. I am going to whatever it is, play this instrument. So it feels like there's a lot of just spending time together as well. I also think for this group, there's going to be moments that are spent with like friends and family that are going to be very significant. So you could be a couple that you enjoy hosting like a game night, or you enjoy hosting a movie night, or just like making dinner, or you have a group of friends or family members where they do that for you and you kind of alternate and go to each other's um, homes. That's coming through as well. And I also think that you and your future spouse are going to be each other's number one cheerleader. So they're going to push you forward and they're going to cheer you on, and you're going to do the same for them. So that's also something that's going to create these moments of just happiness and joy throughout your life together. But let's take a look at how you'll weather any storms that come your way. So, how are you going to grow stronger through any challenges and protect each other? So, we have the Two of Wands and the Two of Wands. We have the Four of Wands and we have the Two of Swords. I think that there's a few ways that this is coming through. So I think that in the ways that you grow stronger is you challenge each other to grow and expand past the comfort zone. You challenge one another to deal with what's uncomfortable and to deal with what comes up. So instead of we are going to ignore the problem and hope it goes away, or we are going to ignore each other until the problem goes away, there is a sense here that you are both going to face things head on. And I said this towards the beginning of this reading. What's beautiful about this connection is that what is your weakness is their strength, and vice versa. So you both, in a way, complete one another. And I hate to say that because uh, a relationship, a marriage, is two whole individuals coming together. But this really does feel like there are parts of your future spouse that are going to teach you so much, and vice versa. And how you'll grow stronger is going to be by pushing one another to see the blind spots, by pushing one another to see in which ways at times you get in your own way, in which ways you self sabotage. Again, this is a relationship that is very beautiful and very strong, but it's also a relationship that not everyone can be in and not everyone wants to be in. And I want to say this for my pile number twos, especially. This is true for any pile, but especially for pile number two. If you are listening to this and you're just like, listen, I just want to have a relationship where I can relax and I can have a good time and I don't have to be challenged, it is okay to say, this is not for me. I am going to choose something different, because you are absolutely in your right to do that, because this is a relationship that is very empowering, but it's also going to challenge you and have you have to face the parts of yourself that maybe at times you don't even want to deal with. And I think that's why for some, if not most of you, there is almost this false start or this separation at some point, because this is a very intense connection. If I had to label this, which I don't want to, I would say this is a divine counterpart or twin flame connection. And I also think in the ways that you protect one another, it's very interesting, because I do think there is a level of nurturing and kindness here, but I also don't think that there is that sense of, all right, we can ignore it. Like, I think when the challenges come up, you'll both want the other person to kind of step up to the plate. And that's going to involve having to deal with things that are uncomfortable. And I think that this is where the words of affirmation for this group comes in. Because I do think you're going to be very much affirming to your spouse. Like, thank you for showing up. You're doing great. I'm glad we're doing this. I'm glad we're dealing with this. But this is two very strong people coming together and pushing one another to be everything that they can be. And it's from a place of love. I actually want to let's take a look at the love that grows over time. So how your love evolves, matures, and deepens over the years. Six of Summer, Six of Cups, Herald of Spring, so the Page of Wands. Pile number two. What's interesting is that I think this is a relationship that as you grow together, you get more lighthearted, which is very interesting, because typically relationships start out and they are kind of in the honeymoon phase, and then they start to get like more serious, and they start to get not as fun, or you have to work really hard to keep the fun and excitement going. I think for your relationship, when it starts out, it's very intense, because again, it feels like this person can see right through you. And as you move through this, as you grow and evolve, that's when this relationship starts to kind of feel lighter, because it feels like, okay, we can finally relax. Okay, this is what we need to do. We've worked through some of the hard lessons, or through some of the challenges. So as your love evolves, it actually gets easier. It feels more comfortable, and it feels more exciting. And I think that as your love evolves, it also, the passion is still there. The intimacy is still there. The romance is still there. But in the ways that you express it, in the ways that you both feel comfortable to express it, it becomes easier and almost second nature. So that's actually a very beautiful evolution, I would think, because it's like our love still feels very, very new, very fresh. And how we can express it feels easier than ever and almost like second nature to us. Let's take a look at your forever after, and this is the lasting imprint your love will leave on each other and the world around you. We have the Four of Wands, the Ace of Wands. And I'm sorry, that was Fearless, and this is Welcome to New York. Pile number 2. So I think that as your love evolves and the lasting imprint that you leave, this is very beautiful because I think there's almost this redefining of what marriage is. And I think that when people look at your relationship with your future spouse, especially as you are growing older and as you are maturing, I think there's almost a redefinition of what a marriage could be, right? Like there are examples of marriages that we don't want anything to do with. And then there are examples of marriages that we strive to have or to find something like it. And I feel like for my pile number 2s, you're really going to redefine what marriage and healthy partnership looks like. Not only for each other, but I think for the people that are close to you. And I also think that what you leave behind and what you teach each other and the imprint that you leave on each other is that it was fun, that it was exciting, that it was something new, that you did something that perhaps when you first met you didn't think was possible. There's something about this connection, this relationship, that it really feels very interesting in the sense of as it goes, it feels like it becomes easier and more exciting. And that's not to say that at the beginning it's not going to be that. But I think at the beginning what happens is we need to figure out the intensity and how we are going to deal with that intensity. I actually want to see. So I picked some additional cards out. These are for you. This could be about the relationship. This could be for you right now. Let's see what we have. So teamwork. I'm determined to be a good teammate in all of my relationships. If we disagree, I'll resist the urge to place blame and look for a way to solve the problem together. When we are a team, everything's a game. And when we are on the same side, nobody can lose. Not even the Cubs, finally. The poor Cubs. Yeah, this is exactly what this is. This is a relationship where we are partners, we are teammates, and I think that a big message here is make sure that you are always on the same team. Again, you two could be a bit competitive at times, and I think you two are very strong personalities. Remembering that you are on the same team is very important. And then we have wisdom. With every relationship, I gain invaluable wisdom. I'm continually learning which qualities stimulate, support, and inspire me, and which ones make me want to cram a soup spoon into my ear and turn it slowly. In that sense, even failed relationships are actually successes. See how wise I sound? And I think that's a good perspective to have. Not just when it comes to relationships, but in general. All right, so this is a goddess card. This could be a message. This could be a goddess that you are being invited to work with. Use your intuition for this part. And we have Amaterasu, I believe. And then we have the sun, good fortune, and happiness. And that's what's coming your way, and that's what you are creating. Pile number 2. And I also think there is so much happiness here. For some of you, you may have had a planet. It could be like Venus. It could be Mars. It could be there was something in retrograde in your natal chart. And I feel like for this, it could have been more than one, like 2 or more planets in retrograde in your natal chart. And it could be why it feels like at times things take longer, or they don't manifest as quickly. But pile number 2, let's look for your affirmation. What is your affirmation? I welcome my partner in with excitement. Yeah, I welcome my partner in with excitement, because I think I think that's the attitude for this group, because I think there's a lot of intensity here, whether you know them or not. And I think having that excitement and that anticipation could be very good for you. And I also think really embracing the present moment could be very helpful. But pile number 2, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share the video if you think it's worth sharing. All of those things help me out so much, and I appreciate you so much for being here. Don't forget to tell me what else you'd like to see next. Stay tuned for the next poll. Thank you for being here. Thank you for allowing me to read for you. I am sending so much love, so many blessings, and I hope to talk to you soon. Bye for now. Hello, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading. This is going to be your reading if you were drawn to the pear-shaped diamond engagement ring. And we're going to place that right over there. As a reminder, this is a general reading. Take what resonates, leave the rest behind. You know yourself best. If it does not fit, do not force it to fit. Also, I did do a reading breakdown that's going to tell you exactly what we are going to cover today, what's going to be answered. I highly suggest that you check that out. It is timestamped below. But to get started, we are going to start by looking at who you are and who your future spouse is. I do want to say for this pile, I had multiple cards pop out. So for this portion of the reading, you had 2 of the spirit animal cards, and your future spouse had 2 of the personality cards. And there were other times during the reading where multiple extra cards were popping out. So I'm very curious to see. Let's get started here. So my intention, first we have the wolf. Ooh, the unicorn. The adventurer. And the advocate. So my intention for this reading is that you, my viewer, are on the left and your future spouse is on the right. That being said, sometimes the energies are flip-flopped, where you could be on the right, your future spouse on the left. But if this doesn't sound like this, like you, and this doesn't sound like you, this is probably not your pile. Try choosing a different one. And sometimes it does happen that you can resonate with both piles, as we tend to connect with people who match our energy. But person number 2, we have the firefly. We have defiance. The vampire. And journey. Okay, so we have a lot of interesting energies coming up here. But pile number 3, let's start with the wolf energy, or the wolf person. And with the wolf being here, this card represents Earth, so Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. We also have the unicorn card, which represents all 12 zodiac signs. The adventurer, all 12 signs are going to be represented on this side, because of that unicorn card being here. So take it as extra confirmation, but all signs are represented for the wolf person, and we will talk about their firefly person when we get there. So, who is my wolf person? First and foremost, this is somebody who is a protector, somebody who is very nurturing, somebody who really cares about the well being of their friends and family. And I think one thing about the wolf person is that they are very reliable. They are someone their friends and family can count on. They are somebody who is always there for the people that they care about. And I also think that the wolf person is someone who really wants the best for other people, and it doesn't just have to be the people that they are close to. This feels like the energy of somebody who wants the best out of, the best for everyone in the world, and wants the best for just the world in general. There's something about this wolf person that feels very kind, very giving, very loving. But I also think that the wolf person is somebody that can be like, this isn't somebody that you want to cross. This isn't somebody that you want to mess with, because this person does know how to stand up for themselves. I do think the wolf person has a cause or something that is very close to their heart that they want to work towards and they want to help. And this feels like something bigger than themselves. So this could be like they could be an advocate for animals, children. It really feels like this person really advocates for the underdog, who, however, that shows up in this person's life is going to be different for different people. But it does feel like this is somebody who really advocates for like the underdog, and the person or the people who are at risk of being used, or at risk of not being able to stand up for themselves. I also think that this wolf person is very family oriented. This feels like somebody who really cares deeply about the people in their inner circle. Um, and this could be family oriented, as in the family that they were born into. This could also be more of the family that they have created. I do think this wolf person really enjoys traveling. This is somebody that really enjoys kind of exploring and experimenting. And I also think that this wolf person is someone that is very spiritual and very wise, and somebody who has a lot of spiritual knowledge at their disposal. This is somebody who feels very much connected to esoteric knowledge. This could be somebody who is into astrology. This could be somebody who does like rune casting. This could be somebody who considers themselves a spellcaster as well. That's coming through. But there's something very magical, very healing about this wolf person. And I also think that the wolf person is someone that is very clairsentient, so clear feeling. This person receives a lot of information through their feelings and through their gut. So, like the sacral, solar plexus, heart chakra, somewhere in there is where this person really receives a lot of the information that comes through for them. I also think that this is somebody that has a lot of angelic and spirit guide protection around them. And this wolf person is very instinctual, very intuitive. They're very good at keeping themselves safe and kind of picking up on the nuances that surround them and the people that are around them. And I also think that the wolf person is somebody who really enjoys thinking about the deeper, almost like the deeper mysteries of life. This is somebody who really enjoys thinking about how things came to be. I do think this is somebody that enjoys learning and expanding their knowledge. This could be somebody who's into like some of the great mysteries. So it could be like, I'm trying to think of an example here, but maybe like Atlantis. Was that real? Was it not? What exactly was that? Or like ancient Greece, Egypt. Like there's some sort of interest that is coming through for some that it really feels like it goes deep into just what was, what could have been, and trying to figure out the answers to things that we don't necessarily have all of the answers to. Um, and I think that there's a strong connection for this wolf person where they're able to connect very deeply to certain energies and certain locations as well. I would not be surprised if this wolf person has a place that really calls to them, maybe even a place that they've never been to that they know is important to them in some way. And one thing that I want to say about the wolf person is that this is someone who's here to do something that involves bringing change and bringing it's almost like bringing in new paradigms into this reality and helping the collective move into more acceptance. That's what I'm hearing. So this could be somebody that does work in like a nonprofit, or someone who does some sort of advocacy for a group of people or a group in general. For some, this person has a very strong connection to Gaia, to Mother Earth, and they are able to kind of bring healing to Mother Earth. So this could be somebody that works with animals, that cares about animals, that works in something to do with environmental. I'm hearing environmental law. It could be just the environment itself, but all of that is coming through. This person is a protector, and I do feel that part of what this person protects is Gaia. And you know, when we talk about Gaia, we are talking about Mother Earth, and we are talking about motherhood. So it could be that this wolf person is a mother, or this wolf person has a very strong connection to their own mother. It could also be that this is somebody that wants children at some point if they don't already have them, and that energy is flowing through here very clearly. I feel this wolf person has a very strong connection to like essential oils, aromatherapy. This could be somebody who has a strong connection to like herbs. There's something about like teas and tinctures and salves that's coming up here for this person. This could be somebody that really makes things with their hands. I do feel like the wolf person, for many, is a very good like cook, very good at preparing meals. There's something about what this person can conjure up in the kitchen and put together that is very healing and very magical. This could be somebody who really enjoys steampunk. That's kind of being illustrated there, especially with that adventurer card. For some, this person could absolutely be like a singer or have some sort of very beautiful voice. Something about the voice coming up. This person could be somebody who plays an instrument, but I'm getting more of a singer for this group. All right, let's talk about the firefly. So, for this firefly person, we have fire represented with Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. We also have Defiance and the Vampire. To me, those would be Earth energies, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. And we have the Journey card, which is actually another one of those Earth energy. So we have a lot of Earth with a little bit of fire for this firefly person. But pile number 3, who is your future spouse? First and foremost, I think this is somebody who is very creative and someone who has a lot of hope and optimism, and somebody who is almost able to anticipate what is yet to happen, and somebody who is always looking at best case scenario, or they're always trying to find ways to um it's almost like this person wants to see the brighter side to life. And I do think this is somebody that experiences a lot of joy, not necessarily because they have so much to be joyful about, but even though I do think they are very good at really being grateful and figuring out what works for them, but I do think this person is very good at seeing the positive, and they have a very they're very intentional about their perspective and how they view and interact with the world. And I think part of that is because for this firefly person, they've been through some difficult experiences. I think for some, this was through childhood. Like, I do think the childhood was not the easiest. And I think this is somebody that has had to deal with some challenges growing up, especially with the treatment that they received as a child. But also because I think this is somebody who knows what it's like to not have support. This is somebody who knows what it's like to be alone and to be lonely and to not have everything that they desire. So, this firefly person, it's almost like they set out to be the best that they can be and to show up and be a light in the world and be what they needed or what they actually need in the world. It's this energy of, I am going to show up and be what I wish was available to me, or what I wished was available to me at some point. I would not be surprised if this firefly person is a writer, or they have like a blog or a vlog, or they have some sort of social media presence. And if they do, it feels like it's kind of like a lifestyle presence that they have. Um, this person has had to do a lot of work on self to get themselves to a point where they are operating from such a high frequency. And I will say, both of these people operate from a high frequency, especially the firefly, because I feel like the wolf person kind of goes in between those two energies, but it feels like the firefly has reached the point where they are really operating from this higher vibration, higher frequency energy, where it's very hard for them to kind of allow themselves to be brought down. And I do think that the firefly person has done a lot of cleansing out in their life, of clearing out anything or anyone that wasn't in their highest and greatest good. And this person has been setting boundaries. I also think that this is somebody who is very intelligent, somebody who is just very. They're always looking for ways to kind of expand, if you will, expand their knowledge, expand what they know about themselves and the world, and how they interact with the world. And I actually want to apologize because I think I saw Firefly and in my brain I said fire, but this is actually an air sign. I'm just looking at the symbol now. This is a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. There is no fire here, even though this is the Firefly. And I think that this is somebody who is an intellectual. And I do think there is a level to this person that they can be pretty adventurous, pretty spontaneous. But also I do think this person has a clear understanding of where they are headed in their life and how they want to get there. And that's kind of like their guiding light as they move through the world. But this person is very aware of other people's energies. And again, this is somebody that has some very good boundaries. I think both of these people have very good boundaries, but I think the Firefly has gotten to a point where those boundaries are pretty set, especially around certain people, and it could be around family, that this person has decided to kind of set some walls and not allow certain people in. But pile number 3, let's take a look at your first chapter together. And this is how you meet, what sets your story in motion. This is kind of your meet cute. If this was a movie or a TV show or a book, this would be the meet cute. So we have the 6 of Cups, Temperance, the 9 of Cups, the 6 of Swords, and the Moon. So pile number 3, as far as you meeting and how you start your life together and the beginning of your chapter, like how this all gets set in motion, I think what's very interesting for this specific pile is that there's a part of this that is wish fulfillment. There is a part of this that is you getting exactly what you are asking for. And I do think for my pile number 3s, you do some active work, whether it's like candle magic, whether it's just a vision board, however you manifest this, it feels like you are very, almost very aware of what you are manifesting and how you are manifesting it in. And I also think that when it comes to this connection, this is a past life connection. This is somebody that you have a past life connection with. For those of you that believe in past lives, if you do not believe in past lives, this just feels like a fated type of high level connection that is ready to come through for you. And that is it's going to meet you on your path because of the work that you are doing. Um, I'll also say, as far as to how your story is set in motion, I do think this has an element of unknown to it and an element of unexpectedness to it. Where when you meet your future spouse, when you connect to one another, it's almost like both of you are not aware that it's about to happen, or both of you are not necessarily seeking this out. This feels like it comes in at a time where one or both of you, more than likely it's going to be both of you, are not actively seeking it. Meaning, yes, you have done what you need to do to manifest it, but it's not like you are in a place where you are seeking it. This doesn't feel like it's happening on a dating app. This doesn't feel like you're going to a place with the intention of meeting your person when you come across them and when you connect with them. And I also think that when you meet and when you connect with your future spouse, there is this element of you are in a place in your life where things feel good, they feel stable, they feel pretty abundant. Like, this could be a time in your life where your relationship with friends and family is thriving. This could be a time in your life where your career is thriving. This could be a time in your life where things are just going kind of like easy going, that there's harmony, there's abundance, things are going with the flow. And it's like, okay, in addition to everything else that's happening and going your way, you meet this person. For some of you, you could meet this person through a friend, like there could be an introduction where you are introduced to them. For others of you, this feels more almost spontaneous, and it feels like there's a level of divine timing at play here where you connect with your person, and again, it just feels very like an auspicious time where you just come together and it's unexpected. It's not something that you are actively seeking, like it's something that you've asked for and something that you've desired, but not something that you are actively seeking on that day in that specific time. Let's take a look at their heart's devotion. So we're going to look at what they'll deeply feel for you and how they'll show their love for you. Let's take a look. Pile number 3. And I think here you had some extra cards as well, from what I remember. So we have the Ace of Swords. We have, the Ace of Pentacles. Then we have Nine of Cups again. I love it when that happens, where I'm picking from different decks and it's like the same cards from different decks are coming out. The Six of Pentacles and the Knight of Wands. So pile number 3, when it comes to how your future spouse is going to feel about you, how deeply they're going to feel about you and how they show their love, first and foremost, this is very beautiful because I think you are each other's wish fulfillment. I think you are each other's like gift from the universe because you both asked for one another and that's exactly what you got. And I think when you do connect, it is because it's almost like the stars have aligned and it's time for you to connect to one another. As far as how your person is going to show their feelings for you, I do think this is somebody who is going to really be good at kind of words of affirmation and also like very thoughtful gifts. But I also think the beautiful thing that this person is going to do to show you how they feel and to express their love for you is they're going to consistently show up, and they are going to show up and be 100% available, 100% there. And this isn't somebody who's playing games. This isn't somebody who's hot and cold. This isn't somebody who is available one day and unavailable the next day. This feels like somebody who's very solid, somebody who's showing up. They're not only showing up emotionally, mentally, but they're showing up physically. They are around. They are, they're making time for you even before you get married, before you live with this person. They are prioritizing you and the relationship. And I think there's a strong connection here. I want to say pile number 3, especially when it comes to intimacy, I think there's a very strong connection here. Like this is somebody that really enjoys spending time with you. You enjoy spending time with them. For some of you, I think this person is going to really enjoy like taking care of you. That could be like planning a spa day for you. That could be like cooking for you or getting takeout. Like this person feels very nurturing and like they want to, it's like acts of service where they want to take care of you in ways that are helpful and beneficial to you. I will also say pile number 3, this is somebody who wants to build with you from the ground up. So when it comes to how they feel about you, they love you very much. They're very attracted to you, but also they see you as someone that they are going to build their future with. So I do think this is somebody who really takes into consideration the things that you want and you desire, especially when it comes to them making plans for their future, or I should say for both of your futures. For some of you, this person is going to take you out dancing, or this could be like dance lessons. This is coming through. It's very specific. So only take it if it resonates. I also think that this is someone where you're going to kind of be active together. So this could be we join a gym together. This could also just be something more of, we go outdoors, we go for a hike, we go for a walk together. For some of you, like concerts, music keeps coming up as important for this group. So maybe it's going to like festivals and concerts and listening to music together. This feels like the type of person that would like dedicate a playlist to you and just kind of send you a playlist and just, this is how I feel. I love you. Here you go. There's something very thoughtful about this person. And one thing that I do want to say, pile number 3, is this is going to be somebody who is going to really know how to cheer you up when things are kind of feeling very heavy for you, that they're really going to know how to cheer you up. That's coming through here. And their love feels very stable, very solid, very nurturing, very reliable. That's how I would describe this. And your person is going to want you to know how they feel about you. And this person is like very detail oriented. I will say that. That's coming through here. Like this person is going to take their time showing you how they feel, and they pay attention to the small details. Like this is somebody who is going to listen, and from the very beginning of the relationship, you are going to know that they were listening and that they were taking in everything that you were saying, because it's like they're going to be able to call back to it. You'll say something to them, and like weeks, months, maybe a year later, they bring it back up in some way, something that maybe you didn't even think they would remember. And I also think what's beautiful about how they're going to show their love to you is that this is a very freeing love. This feels like a love that sets you free instead of trying to control you, a love that encourages you instead of trying to kind of trap you. Let's take a look at what we have here. And yes, you had an extra card here as well. And this is going to be your bond beyond words. And we are looking at the emotional, spiritual connection that makes your relationship unbreakable. And we have the Six of Pentacles again, because we just had it there. We have Temperance. We have the Four of Cups. And we have the Ten of Swords. So this is a bond that you two are going to build where even when things are comfortable, it's not in a bad way. And I think that the type of bond that you're going to build with each other is one that is based on love, patience, and just true caring and connection for the other person. Again, this feels like a relationship where there's a lot of equal give and take, where two people are showing up and they are putting forth like an equal effort, and they are putting forth the work to make things happen. And this is also a relationship where I think what's going to feel very nurturing and very good about this is, especially for the Firefly, whoever the Firefly person is, and I think for most of you that is going to be your future spouse, but it almost feels like I see you and I accept you for who you are, and you don't have to pretend to be anything that you are not. And you can come as you are, and you can put down the weight of the world. Because I think for both of you, you do carry around a lot of the heaviness that comes with the responsibilities that you have both taken on. But I feel like especially for the Firefly, there's almost this idea that they have to show up and act and be a specific way. And I think a beautiful thing that's going to happen in this relationship is that through the bond that you build, both of you, especially the Firefly, is going to feel very comfortable with just being fully present and not being the one that has to kind of lead the way or pretend to feel something that they're not feeling, or pretend to be at a point that they're not yet, or just put on a show or put on a brave face. And I'll also say, like, this does feel like a very spiritual connection, because we do have Temperance here, we do have the Six of Pentacles, but with this Ten of Swords being here, this is for both of you an opportunity to put behind you difficult relationships not only in romance, but I think that just relationships in general. And I think for both of you, for some, this isn't going to apply to everyone, there is an opportunity to kind of like do some inner child healing through this relationship, because I do think both the wolf and the firefly, again, this isn't for all, so take it if it resonates, carry some inner child wounds around the environment or the relationships that they were around. And this feels like an opportunity to do healing and say, this is me consciously creating the type of connection, the type of relationship that I want in my life, and choosing different from myself than what I witnessed while I was growing up, or doing things that are different than what I witnessed growing up. All right, so we're going to look at the life that you will create together. And this is like the lifestyle, the home, the family, the shared passions, anything that wants to come through. We have the Eight of Pentacles, the Hermit, and the Queen of Wands. Pile number 3, when it comes to this relationship and the home that you're going to build together, I think what both of you are going to focus on and what both of you are going to prioritize is creating peace and harmony. Like, this feels like a relationship where you are choosing someone that is not going to bring drama to your life, that is not going to bring chaos into your life. This feels like both of you really want to prioritize creating a life and creating a home with someone that feels very peaceful, that feels very calm, and it feels very it's almost like you're seeking that sense of home, and there's a very specific idea of what that sense of home is going to feel like, and you and your future spouse are going to create that together. Now, this isn't to say that this is going to be boring or anything like that, because we also have the Queen of Wands, but it feels like the type of excitement and fun that you are going to have in your home and in your family and in your relationship is fun and excitement that you are purposefully creating. This feels like the environment of the home itself feels very serene. It feels like one of those places that you walk in and you can just like relax, and you feel your shoulders drop. You feel yourself instantaneously relax. I am getting a scent of like lavender. To me, that is a very relaxing environment. That is a very safe environment, because I do think that both of you prioritize feeling safe and building up almost like this safe haven in your home. And I think the decor is also like very calming, very soothing. It feels like the priority is to create a home that feels very warm and inviting and nurturing, and just I'm also smelling like chocolate chip cookies. Like, it smells like chocolate chip cookies. So it's just very it's almost like a 90s sitcom family home type of situation that's coming through. And part of what you're building in your actual home is a safe space where both of you can kind of go and relax and leave the outside troubles outside of the home. It's very intentional, from decoration to location to feeling that you are going to create. I think for a lot of my pile number 3s, this isn't like a city. This feels something like that's more this could be like a suburb. This could be something like the countryside. This doesn't feel, for most of you, take it as it resonates, this doesn't feel like it's a big city or like a busy city life. And even if that is what's happening outside or the location that you choose, there's still this sense of like serenity that you are creating within the home. Some of you may have some pets that you're going to get. There could be children here, though I'm not getting that for everyone. Definitely pets for most of you. Could be a cat, could be dog, could be like a bunny. Some of you, I'm hearing birds chirping, so there may be like bird houses outside. There may just be like a lot of nature sounds that are happening outside of the home as well. Let's take a look at, speaking of, the joy that you will create together. So what are the little moments that are going to build up the bigger moments, right? So we have the Hanged Man and the World card. Pile number 3, the joy that you'll share together. I think a lot of what you're going to share together is that, again, you both feel like a safe space, and you both feel like you can just go and spend time with this person. And there's almost something magical about the time that you spend together for this group, where it just feels like, I just don't want this to end. And I think that's going to be especially true at the dating stage. But as you grow in the relationship, I still think you share those moments of, I just want to be with my person. I just want to sit here, maybe in complete silence. Because I do think you are two people that really can enjoy like sitting together and not necessarily always having to talk, or like sitting in the same room while one person is reading a book, or one person is just kind of daydreaming, or the other person is just working on something. It's like you enjoy the moments that you get to spend with one another and be fully present. And I do think part of what you're going to enjoy as well is kind of getting away and creating moments in time where it's just you and your spouse. And it's like you are shutting the world out. You are connecting with one another and keeping everybody else out. And those moments are going to be the ones that you cherish a lot as you grow older, and when you look back. And I also think that what you are going to look back at and really, look at as a moment of joy that you spent together are those periods of time where it's not always easy, but you get to the other side of that and you do that together. So there is almost like, remember when I wasn't feeling well and it was crap, but like you took care of me. And I will say, pile number 3, this is the type of person that if you're not feeling well, they're not going to just call you and say, I hope you feel better, I'll talk to you later. Or they're not just going to go about their day. They're going to make sure they get you some soup. They're going to make sure that they take care of you. Like, this feels like somebody who would stick around and nurse you back to health. And I think vice versa. Like, these are two people that want to take care of one another, that want to protect one another, and that want to be there for one another. And I do think a big part of that is just, there is a base of friendship here that you build, though I do think this really kicks off as the intention being romance. I don't think this is like a friends to lovers type of connection. This feels like very early on, we know what we want, but throughout your life, you do become like a good friend to each other in addition to the romantic stuff. And I think there's going to be a lot of moments of, and I think for, as far as joy, it's just going to be moments of just peace and quiet and just existing and feeling like everything is exactly how it's supposed to be. Let's take a look, because I'm very curious as to how you will weather the storms together. So, how you'll grow stronger through challenges and protect each other's hearts. We have the 3 of Wands, the Ace of Swords, and the Eight of Swords. So I think a big thing for this relationship is going to be communication and being able to talk things through, and not only talk it through, but truly understanding where the other person is coming from. Like, I think it's going to be very important for both of you to truly understand where the other person is coming from. And I do think this is two people that really do want to understand where the other person is coming from. It's not just, let me apologize because I got to get this out the way because I'm tired of arguing with my spouse. Or let me just, pretend like I understand. This feels like a true, I want to understand and I want to push beyond my understanding and my biases in this relationship so that I know how to be a better partner to you. And I also think with this Three of Wands being here, there is a part of this that what is really going to help you weather the storms is understanding that there is so much better coming in, right? That you are both going to stick around, you are both going to do the work. And even though it's a bad day where you may be arguing or you're not feeling great or things are happening outside of your control in other areas, that you know what it feels like to be with your future spouse. You know what it feels like to feel that sense of harmony and belonging with them. So there is almost like that anticipation of, I know once we go through this, what we have is solid and what we have is beautiful. And I can't wait to get back to that. Because I don't think this is a couple that has too many arguments. I think this is a couple where things may come up in other areas and you have to deal with them. But I really feel like, generally speaking, for the most part, you both very early on figure out kind of like the workings of the other person, and you figure out how to work things through things pretty quickly. Um and I think one thing that's also beautiful here is that both of you are willing to take the first step. So this doesn't feel like, I'm angry, I'm going to ignore them, or vice versa, where they're angry and they're ignoring you, or like, I want to be right, so I'm going to stretch this out. This feels like two people that really want to clear things up. And even if things are not great, both of these people want to clear the air and deal with it before it festers or before it snowballs into something bigger than what it originally was. All right, pile number 3, let's look at that you the love that grows over time. So how your love evolves, matures, and deepens over the years. And we have the Five of Wands. And we also have, two fives, Five of Wands and Five of Cups. So this is very interesting because the five is all about change. The five is all about evolution and change and things evolving, growing, changing. And we are talking about through the years, right? How this is going to grow over time as you spend time together, how this grows. And I think what this is speaking to is learning to support one another and being in a relationship where your love becomes the pushing force. Your love becomes what propels both of you forward to surpass your own limits, to try to continuously improve yourself. And I will say, I do think this wolf person and this firefly person are two people that really do enjoy learning about themselves and growing. But I think that this relationship, this connection is really going to push both of you to like even further, right? Like to surpass limits, to grow even further. And I also think that because we have the Five of Cups, and the Five of Cups is typically a card that speaks to grieving and speaks to disappointment, but it can also speak to, letting go of past trauma and having those opportunities to let go and doing the shadow work and, you know, identifying and releasing old stories. And I think that when it comes to how this love grows over time, it's very gentle, it's very nurturing, and it's very encouraging. And it almost feels like this is a love where both of you are growing together. And through this growth, you are healing parts of of the past or past versions of yourselves. And I do feel for this group there's a lot of inner child healing that happens through this connection, through this relationship with your future spouse. And it feels like it happens because you both choose to create something completely different. You both choose to show up for yourselves and each other. Let's take a look at your forever after. And this is the lasting impact your love will leave on each other and the world around you. So we have the Page of Wands with you need to calm down. And then we have the Sun with you belong with me. And that's the vibe here. Is you belong to each other. And I love this because the lasting imprint that your love is going to leave on each other and on other people is one of joy and gratitude and happiness. And also, I think this sense of peace and harmony is going to be very important here for both of you, like long term, like that. It's almost like your nervous system finds a very nurturing home to settle into, to feel at home, to feel good about self. And I also think with this Page of Wands being here, this is speaking to my dream was to have a relationship, right? That was healthy, that was nurturing, that was gentle, that was devoted to me. And that is exactly what you both create together. And I think that what you give each other is on top of that joy, that gratitude. What you provide each other is permission to dream. Permission to ask for what you want and what you know you deserve. And permission to accept what you deserve. And I think that also there's a lot of passion here. There's a lot of just love in a passionate but not chaotic way. And I think other people are also going to notice that. Especially if you have kids, pile number 3, you're going to set an amazing example for them of what relationships should be. But let's take a look. So these are affirmators. These could be for you right now. This could be in relation to the relationship. Let's see what we get here. So we have sensuality. Embracing sensuality doesn't necessarily mean you're a middle-aged swinger. It simply means you're savoring one of the coolest aspects of being alive, sensory input. It's time to get decadent and reward yourself with the gifts for the senses. You could drop a wad of cash on champagne and chocolate, or you could tune in and enjoy the incredible gifts around you. The taste of an orange, the sounds of the forest, the texture of corduroy. I don't know your life. The point is, it's time to savor whatever your senses can grab a hold of, even if it means you're being sensual. Gross. And I think one of the things that this relationship, this connection is going to bring is an opportunity to feel safe within your own skin and within your own needs, pile number 3. But also, this could be an invitation to invite more sensuality in your life, even if you have yet to meet your future spouse. Let's take a look at what else we have here. Ooh. So you have sensuality and now you have pleasure. It says, I give myself permission to feel pleasure, and I let that pleasure rush into my life in a decadent display of over-the-top abundance. Then I realize that pleasure has been waiting at my door for a long time. It's just that pleasure doesn't knock on doors because loud noises aren't super pleasant. Pile number 3, what can you do today to bring in more pleasure into your life, whatever that means for you? Let's take a look. I kind of showed that, but this is supposed to be a goddess that you can work with. This could be a message that is meant for you at this time. And ooh, we have Gaia, completion, the earth, and success. For this group, there's a strong connection to Gaia, at the very least at this point in time. And there's a strong connection to grounding yourself, being fully present in your senses. But this is also speaking to the abundance that this relationship is going to bring into your life and you're going to bring into your person's life. Pile number 3, claim it. I am sensual and ready for love. That is your affirmation. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share the video if you think it's worth sharing. All of those things help me out so much, and I appreciate you so much for being here. Stay tuned for the poll for next week's reading. Thank you for allowing me to read for you today. I am sending you so much love, so many blessings. I hope to talk to you soon. Bye for now.